So then this is fairly typical of what we do. We print 8 pages on one side of the sheet and 8 pages on the other side. And then we take the printed sheets down to the other end of the room and put them on a machine called a Baum folder, because it was invented by Mr. Baum. And the folder takes the sheets and knocks it down to, so you get 16 pages in order, which is called one signature. In this case, the little booklet is only 16 pages. So that's done. You put 2 staples in it and you trim it. We'll trim it after. We can do that too. More typical, if we're doing books like George Walker's books, in which case there's 11 or 12 signatures, you print, signature number 1 is pages 1 to 16, and then signature number 2 is pages 17 to 32, then 33 to 48, and then you sew them all together with thread on the sewing machine upstairs in the binder.
So how many pages can you do with a staple? How many signatures can you do to make
We
a
just
staple?
use staples for 16 pages and that's it. Beyond that, we start sewing and putting covers on. So we'll show you the folding machine. Every single stage is very realistic. You can tell that this is sewn because if you look on the spine, you can see the folds, and it's through the folds that you put the thread on the spice sewing machine. There's a story about a bookseller at the University of Toronto was introducing me to a group of students and talking about the quality of the binding and explaining that this binding is solid enough that you can use this book to discipline a wayward cat. And in fact, the binding is so strong, the cat can throw it back. So you might not remember about the difference between perfect binding, which means exactly the opposite of what it's called. Perfect binding means garbage. And Smyth sewing, which is what this is, you won't remember those terms, but you might remember my story about the cat. So that's the end of my part of the tour. George Walker, the engraver, is doing a demonstration of wood engraving by hand at the back of Renaissance, 2 doors to the south. And George has a little tiny tabletop printing press, which is 100 years older than this machine. And we're trying to demonstrate the differences between the technologies.
So if you're doing a book like this, you would run it through and get all your signatures, all your 16s, and then
we use a perfect binding machine with the saw taken out, which is upstairs on the ground floor. You could ask one of the girls to show you that. The guts of the book, the insides, are sewn together, and then they drop in a clamp, and then the guts are dragged mechanically across a hot glue, and then the cover is upside down, and the clamp stops, the cover gets pushed up onto the spine, and then there's a clamping thing that forms the spine around. And then the books come down here, and the last thing is you trim off the 3 sides to open up the folds.
so you do it right from start to finish.
Yeah, we do absolutely everything right here.
And very
Very
diverse.
different.
Great
It's fun.
admiration.
It's fun.